Hiya, and welcome back to Far Beyond the World. This is the, well, technically the third try tonight. So, I'm not even going to try and come up with something funny, because I already did. The game that teaches us that even Batman can smile. Let's just hop right in. I plop onto the mattress, bouncing up and down a bit, trying to calm myself down. I really hope I didn't annoy him as much as it seemed I did. The delicious meaty smell that drifts through the air from the parcel invites me to dig in once again. Hiya! My mood instantly lifts, if only slightly, as I bite into another succulent cut. It's tasty, but I really wouldn't mind having something else to go with it. First two parts. Oh, don't worry about it. The first two parts are on YouTube. Bread. Ah. Hang on. Well, if it helps, I'm in Eastern Daylight Time. If that helps at all. I close my eyes, instantly smiling upon the recollection of what bread is. The crunchy rim of a freshly baked loaf, the smell of it as it comes out straight from the oven. How do I even know these things? I shrug, continuing to eat. No point dwelling on it if I can't really do anything about it. Ranok's right, everything will be revealed in time. If I can randomly remember what bread is, I'm sure I'll remember something more tangible from my previous life. That's awesome. Previous life. I stop chewing and chuckle, considering what I'm actually saying. Whatever happened before these wolves found me seems completely separated from who I am now. Why no? I know. Just gonna do the same exact thing that we did with Cilio. Almost as if I've been severed from my past. I look at the crumbled cloth containing my dinner. Oh, fuck. Hang on, let me just... Jesus Christ. Why are we still having network issues? I did all the shit you're supposed to do with the network. I only ate half of it, if not less. The portion is generous, true, but I also lost my appetite. What is exactly going on with me? I have no idea. I fold the cloth back up, deciding to keep the rest of the meat for later. Okay, so we're safe for a little bit. Got it. Slowly, I approach the small dresser, the very same one I had climbed when I first set my eyes on Volgor. My feet brush an object across the floor and I notice the comb still lying there. I pick it up with a smile, remembering my defiant stand against the black wolf. With a shrug, I open the drawer from which I retrieved it and placed it back in there. I shut it, not even looking inside. I'm a guest here, I shouldn't pry. Gently, I set the parcel down on the flat top and turn to approach the door. From what I understand, this house has at least one more room. I'm curious to see it. I put my ear to the door, trying to determine if anyone's there. Ranok? I mutter, mostly to confirm what I already know. I slowly crack the doors open to see what's actually behind them. The room is similar in size to the bedchamber I woke up in, however, it has two windows instead of one. I can see the orange glow of a large bonfire coming from outside, and I hear the sound of wolves talking and laughing. I'm sorry, but Cilio left me all traumatized. Yeah, Cilio left me traumatized. Like, It was like every single time you walked into a new room, bam, nude scene. It almost makes me want to approach the window and have a look, but I realize I'd be immediately spotted. My pale skin would reflect the glow of the fire, making me look like a ghost behind the glass. I sigh and instead look around the room properly. There's a table with a set of chairs, another cupboard, and a large fireplace. All of it looks comfy, but incredibly rustic. Huh, another thing I know. This is an incredibly old-timey looking house, though what a normal house should look like, I can't recall. I frown, realizing there is no other bed. There's only a stack of blankets in front of the hearth. Ranok gave me his own bed. I approach his makeshift bedding, crouching down beside it. I can tell it was slept in recently, strands of gray fur dotting the fabric. How long was I out before I woke up for the first time? A shadow moves by the front window, causing me to drop to my knees, hiding out of sight. There's a lot of movement outside, so the village is still up and going despite the darkness. I can't tell the time, though. The passage of time is almost impossible to work out here, and although I don't know why, not being able to measure it fills me with incredible frustration. Why would I feel the need to know what time it is? Night is night. Where does the idea to even measure it come from? I shake my head. All of this is giving me a massive headache. I look around to find something to wash the meat down and find a jug on the table. I grab a cup and pour myself a glass. Taking a reluctant sip, I half expected wine or ale, but thankfully, it's just plain water. I empty the entire cup thirstily, pouring myself another round. I almost feel as if I'm having a drink for the first time in my life. Fuck, so weird. I gasp, finally having my fill. At some point, I will have to use the toilet. However, I can clearly see there's none in the house. I wince, realizing that most likely there's an outhouse somewhere in the back. Not only does that seem Spartan, but also, I'm not allowed to leave. I guess I'll have to hold it in for a bit. Luckily, my body feels utterly empty, so I don't need to go just yet. Hopefully, everything will be settled before I do, and I'll be able to get out. The only thing worse than an outhouse would be a chamber pot. I cringe, shivering at the thought. Nope. I decide to return to my bed. Ranok is most likely occupied, and hearing how merry everyone is outside, this might take a while. I close the doors to the bedroom behind me and approach the bed. Sound of faint music reaches my ears. It's very upbeat and almost invites one to dance. The feast seems to be quite a party, a pity I have to miss it. I allow myself to sway in the rhythm, moving from one leg to another, almost as if remembering something I used to do once upon a time. I must look incredibly foolish. I drop onto the mattress chuckling, filled with a little bit of nostalgia. Just sitting on the bed makes me incredibly tired. I yawn uncontrollably. I've been out for at least a day, considering Ranok had to sleep on the floor. Then why am I so exhausted? Staying awake doesn't come naturally to me. My eyelids become incredibly heavy again, and I feel as if I am wrapped in a warm, snug embrace. It must be the meal I ate. So much meat is quite heavy for your stomach. That must be it. I'm just getting drowsy from eating. I rest my head on the pillow and close my eyes, allowing myself to drift away into that familiar nothingness. But it isn't nothingness. This time I don't lose awareness. Panic grips at my heart as I realize I'm back where I was at the beginning of all this. No! I don't want to feel this again. My body begins to fade into oblivion, all senses abandoning me aside from my consciousness. That's when the familiar voice returns, a multitude of words spoken all at once. I want to scream, but all I can do is simply think. What do you want? One chance. I feel a searing pain within my soul, as if the words hurt me. Stop. My whole being is screaming in unimaginable agony. No! You stop it! I demand, unable to contain myself in this pit of despair. Too late. I want to fight back, but each word pushes me closer and closer to the brink of madness. I don't know whether the voices stop themselves, or did I simply give in, but after the last wave of pain, I pass out. Everything returns to that familiar feeling of abandon. Not a single dream reaches me, or at least that's what I think. It's as if I drifted away on the pillow, filled with a delicious meal, and everything simply paused. However, I can't shake off this odd feeling of dread. I feel something ominous at the edge of my consciousness. I feel like I'm being watched. A creaking plank stirs me from my sleep. Ain't risking it. I open my eyes in a panic, seeing nothing but darkness before me. I quickly locate the window, trying to confirm I haven't returned to the void. It's simply night, and I'm still here, in a strange world filled with talking wolves. Another creak causes me to jump up. Who's there? A shadow of a large beast moves slightly, sitting at the foot of my bed, its eyes glistening in the dark. My blood freezes and I'm about to scream when a hint of light betrays a familiar gray coat. Oh, thank God he's wearing pants. Thank God. Ranok. God, why? I squeak out in both relief and panic. Couldn't sleep. The wolf shrugs casually. And I wanted to get to know you better, without us hanging onto our every word. And you intend to do that by creeping onto the bed in the middle of the night? Was held up longer than expected. Ranok gives me a goofy smile as if he doesn't understand why this could be unsettling. It's the middle of the night. I try to reiterate. You're a wolf. Yes, and you're a human. We've established that already. God damn, he's dumb. My point exactly. He gives me another naive smile, causing me to sigh in resignation. Most humans would find this whole setup extremely terrifying. Most wolves would find you extremely terrifying. The gray wolf retorts teasingly. Disgusting, maybe. I smirk, rolling my eyes as I recall Volgar's earlier reaction. I don't find you disgusting. He protests, laughing. Do you find me terrifying? He grins, playfully baring his fangs at me, but I try not to flinch. I'm not really sure what answer he expects, but I decide to be honest. I do? Good. He nods with satisfaction. What good is a wolf if a tiny human doesn't fear him? He laughs, widening his smile and jokingly punching my shoulder. You want me to fear you? I ask teasingly, drawing a mischievous growl from Ranok's throat. Despite it being just a game, it did startle me, but I keep my composure. Or so I think, because Ranok simply laughs at me, his tail swooshing on the bed in glee. Doesn't take much to get your heart pumping, does it? Fuck, I forgot that he has a heart rate monitor in his head. Wait, what? Just for a moment, I could almost hear a rhythmic beeping before it vanishes into nothingness. I heard it before, just before everything went black. Before I woke up in this room. To die so young. I think I died. The wolf blinks, completely thrown off by my remark. Is that your usual pickup line? Ranok smirks slyly, his tail slapping the bed in anticipation. This time, I'm the one blinking. What? I think I died and went to heaven? He grins flirtatiously, sliding closer to me. What? No! I protest, pushing myself away. What's wrong with you? None of this is funny! I almost shout out in annoyance. I know I'm not angry at him. I don't even understand why I'm angry in the first place, but I feel as if I'm mourning my own passing. I couldn't be dead, but then where the hell am I? What the fuck is going on? I look at him wide-eyed, feeling as I swell with tears. The wolf moves back to his original spot, looking defeated. He's slouching with ears folded back and his tail tucked to the side. I'm sorry, I didn't... You act like this is fun and games, but I am truly terrified. My voice cracks as my mind races out of control. I'm at the edge of the abyss, just a step away from falling back into the dark hole. I'm really scared. The wolf stands up, causing the mattress to perk back up as his weight disappears. That much is clear, he mutters sorrowfully. He sulks towards the door, obviously taking my outburst to heart. Ever since I woke up in this strange world, he's been nothing but kind and caring towards me. Even through my memory loss, deep in my heart, I know it's something I rarely experienced. It's not fair for him to feel dejected just because I'm paranoid. I'll leave you be. With a solemn expression, he grabs the door handle, intent to give me space. Wait! His brow raises at my sudden request. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to explode like this. Please, don't leave me alone. Not now. He tilts his head in bewilderment at my pleading expression. I thought you didn't want me here. No, I do! I really do. It's just hard to stay in the moment with all these thoughts spinning in my head. I think that's why I'm sleeping so much. To get a break. He closes the door and hastily returns to my side. What happened? I had not a memory, but something flashed through my mind. It really spooked me. I can see that. The wolf sits down next to me, his fur brushing against my skin. It's soft and inviting. He looks at me inquisitively, but I only sit there, struggling to maintain my composure. As I'm about to lose that battle, he reaches around my back and pulls me into a warm embrace. Resisting crosses my mind, but I instantly banish the thought. All I want is to feel safe, and for whatever reason, every time he's around, he makes me feel just that. I surrender myself completely and allow him to cradle me into his chest. I try to calm myself as he idly ruffles my hair. What was it? I don't know, but it makes me feel dead. You aren't dead. Certainly doesn't feel like I am, but still. I breathe heavily into his chest, his musk and smell of the forest filling my nose. He must have been drinking, since I can detect the faint whiff of wine coming from him. It's a calming combination, almost like some sort of inhaling balm. His gentle stroking and steady rising and falling of his chest soothes me further. Within moments I manage to compose myself, and once I can hear his tail wag again, I gently push myself away from the wolf. I sigh, resting my face against my arms in resignation. This whole thing is so messed up. I feel him place upon my head. I feel so vulnerable. He ruffles my hair softly, the paw's weight matching the feeling in my gut. It's okay. You know that none of us would hurt you, right? That's not it. I find myself looking up, his paw still gently stroking my head as my blurry eyes meet his. You keep saying that everything is going to be fine, but none of this is fine. I don't know who I am, who you are. I stretch out my arms as if trying to encompass the entire world. You say that talking wolves are normal, that there are other beast folk out there, like it's something obvious. I look down at my twitching leg. All of this is news to me, as if I was born yesterday. Ranok just sits there, petting my head and listening. That simple gesture is the most comforting thing I've felt since I woke up. You simply lost your memory. With time, everything will come back to you. I'm sure of it. The wolf forces a soft smile onto his muzzle. He's trying to encourage me, but we both know that's all it is, an encouragement. How can you be so sure? Because I trust the ancestors. Our paths crossed for a reason. I roll my eyes. I'm not his damn wish away. Talking wolves, ancestors, and name trees. I feel like I'm dreaming. Well, even if it is a dream. He cuts me off, biting his lip. I see his expression shift as he's thinking something over, and the paw on top of my head comes to a stop. Aside from the whole memory loss thing, is it a bad dream to have? Or am I that much of a nightmare to be around? I look up at his teasing expression and blink. The paw starts to softly ruffle my hair again, and I can't help but chuckle, forcing my welled-up eyes to release 2 stray tears. It's so surreal, but I have to give Ranok credit. He's a smooth talker. No, you're not. I scoff, and this time he chuckles. I envy his light-hearted attitude. Even though he faces almost all harsh consequences of this misadventure as I do, he doesn't seem to mind. If anything, he seems very set on protecting me and making me feel safe. Once he sees me smile, he withdraws his paw, and we sit like that for a moment until I finally break the silence. Why did you save me? Like I said, the ancestors guided me towards my path. I shake my head. I'm not a path. First, let me walk it, and then we'll decide. He smiles slyly. You're betting quite a lot on me. If you found me next to your name tree, why did you take me in? Vol told me that your people are willing to go to war over them. Ranok laughs. Don't call him Vol to his muzzle unless you want to be choked again. He pauses, thinking over what I said. As for the tree, you didn't harm it. But what if it was harmed? I pose a question, despite being troubled by what his answer may be. It wasn't. Hypothetically, what if whoever left me in the forest damaged it and I was the only collateral? What would you do then? I don't want to talk about it. Just answer the question! Ranok looks away, clearly disturbed by the scenario. His ears splay back as he struggles to give me an answer, but the silence speaks for itself. Had someone damaged the tree, I would pay the price. Despite my worst suspicion being confirmed, I'm glad the wolf is at least is being honest with me. I'm not offended, just saying that our situation is quite circumstantial. For something you believe to be fated, a lot of things could have played out differently. The wolf looks at me with an irritated expression. Why do you do this? I saved you, didn't I? He clearly doesn't enjoy this little mental exercise. Because if the tree was damaged, you wouldn't have. And if that's the case, it's hard for me to see this as fate. You're reading too much into this. I'm not! Had I damaged the tree, even by accident, you would have killed me! The wolf finally stands up, snarling at me with genuine anger, his muzzle baring his fangs like I'd never seen before. Yes, I would have killed you! Is that what you want to hear? I pull away from him in fear. I can't bear seeing him like this, like the feral beast he actually is. Noticing my reaction, the wolf's expression softens, and his fangs hide behind a remorseful expression. He sighs in resignation, and silence falls over us. Eventually, Ranok smiles at me, giving me a patronizing look. That's what fate is, though, isn't it? A lot of things falling into place in just the right way. I roll my eyes again. I guess that's something I'm going to do a lot around this wolf. There's no point in arguing about this. He's too set in his ways. I still don't understand why you would be willing to kill someone over a tree. There's more to it than that. His expression sours. Well then, enlighten me. Ranok looks at me concerned, as if unsure if he should elaborate on the subject. Please? He nods reluctantly, sitting back on the bed but keeping appropriate distance. Whenever a pup is born, we plant a special sapling within the grove. It's fashioned from the seeds of their parents' name trees. How does that work? I can see a cheeky grin paint on the gray wolf's muzzle. Well, when a mommy tree loves daddy tree very, very much. Oh, fuck off. I scoff through a chuckle accompanied by Ranok's laughter. Well, what do you want me to say? He barks out defensively. Sorry that I don't know how you make tree babies. It's simple, really. You just pollinate a seed of one tree with the other. Uh-huh. And then what? I'm certain I have a very confused look on my face as the wolf regards me with mild frustration. You just plant it. As a pup lives long enough to earn a name, that name is then carved into his growing tree. When we die, we are buried beneath them so that we can become one. This allows our spirits to stay in the world a little while longer, to guide our people. As long as the tree lives, our ancestors are still with us. I take a moment to digest the information. So that's what Vol meant by saying the ancestors reside inside of them. It's their resting place. The gray wolf blinks, looking at me in shock. Vol talked about it? I'm surprised. He doesn't open up to just about anyone about spiritual stuff. I'm not sure if he's trying to make me feel better or speaking the truth about the blackmail. Despite Volgar's earlier actions, I'm already warming up to him, and I'd like to think that he's starting to warm up to me in turn. We sit like this for a moment in silence, but I don't mind. His presence alone is enough to put me at ease, or at least as much at ease as he himself is. Oh God, I can't speak. Despite sitting next to each other, I have to look up to meet his gaze, his form towering over mine. I say slowly, thinking back to the dark void which held me so enviously before I opened my eyes. It almost feels as if it's still here somewhere, hiding at the edges of my vision and waiting to reclaim me. The persistent thought of me actually being dead doesn't help either. Perhaps those are just the last imaginings of my slowly fading mind. What a horrible thought. If this is just a dream, then I'm not sure I want to wake up. Then don't. He closes his eyes, smiling. Everything is so simple for him. I feel like I don't have a choice in the matter. I've lost all sense of agency. The wolf looks at me with a worried expression, but then proceeds to look out the window. We sit like this for a moment, and I find myself staring at the world outside. The calm of the night claimed the forest, and the moonlight bathes in its hues of midnight blue. Maybe it's the exact opposite. I look up at the wolf, confusion obviously painted on my face. You have a clean slate. You can start life anew. No mistakes of the past to weigh you down. No attachments, no strings. I narrow my brows. almost feeling as if he made light of my circumstance. Would you trade places with me, then? I would, he says without hesitation. I blink, caught off guard by the statement. It sounded almost sincere. I've made many mistakes in my life, and my future was already decided long before I was born. I knew who I would be, when and who I had to mate with, everything predetermined without my say. You're the first actual choice I had. Who's without agency here? He forces a challenging smirk, and I reciprocate it with a smile. Wait, mate? I cough, surprised that I actually asked that out loud. Ranok looks at me with a bit of confusion, but quickly laughs loudly. Oh, wow. I look at his massive jaw, teeth glittering in the dim light of the moon. He used to send shivers down my spine, but now it makes me smile in amazement. Funny how that's the only thing that stuck out to you. I cough, pulled back into the conversation. Oh god. My face flushes red as I realize what he just implied. It was the odd one out. Right. He muses, looking at me teasingly. Honestly, I don't know anything about your traditions. I could teach you. I bite my lip, sensing a trap. But at the same time, learning their customs isn't such a bad idea. Especially if I were to stay here until I get better. If I were to get better. And hey, might even jog some of my memories. I finally smile, nodding. Okay, teach me. Well, we are set up to mate with a compatible peer in our childhood. Once we come of age, we... Not that! The heat rises to my cheeks, and I try to shoo away the mental image of him having sex. No. Oh god, now it's in my head! I feel my face burning up and hide it in my palms as the wolf laughs merrily. I mean the culture! I mumble, still guarding my face from ridicule. Well, it is our culture. Might even say one of its most important aspects. Can't argue with that. So, I finally managed to compose myself. I'm not a child anymore, I shouldn't act like one, giggling and blushing upon hearing a no-no. I raise my head and look up at Ranok. You basically grow up knowing who you'll have to be with? I know you humans do things differently. We don't stay with our mates. We generally just mate to produce the most desirable offspring, to further the tribe. He states matter-of-factly. The thought of living like that almost makes me feel sad. Don't wolves feel love? Ranok laughs again, this time even louder, as if I cracked the best joke he'd heard all day. What does love have to do with it? It has a lot to me, I blurt out, almost gasping and covering my mouth. Somehow I managed to rein in that impulse. I don't want the wolf to misconstrue me. We do love Salem, but it doesn't factor into procreation. We mate for the tribe, we love for ourselves. I look at him confused. It sounds so wrong, yet do I even have a point of reference? I can't remember my life before this whole mess. How am I so sure it's not the case for everyone? However, my gut tells me that this is not what I agree with. The wolf looks at me, seeing the gears turning behind my mask of silence. He decides to break it. I know humans take mating seriously. I've heard they vow loyalty to each other, which also includes... This time he bites his lip. I almost shiver seeing the fang perk out, but again, the wolf laughs. The carnal side of things. This makes me blush again, as the image of me having sex pops into my head. How would that even work? Did I ever have sex? I try to imagine the act, and I jump up in bed with a yelp, startling the wolf. What happened? I turn as red as a brick and quickly looking away from him. Why? Why does my mind do this to me? Why did it show me with him? He's a talking beast, man. What the hell, brain? I shake my head. There's nothing to it. I know there isn't. I just don't remember what other people look like. All I know is him. Ugh. Why do I even explain myself to myself? I just need to rein my thoughts in, that's all. Are you okay? Did you remember something? The wolf sounds worried, placing his massive paw on my shoulder. The sheer sensation causes me to inexplicably shiver. Perhaps you took the vows with someone? What? No! I protest as hard as I can, almost offended at the insinuation. But quickly my resolve melts away as I realize that I don't know. I have no clue. I might have? I slump back into my hands, struggling to contain tears once again. This is so messed up. Who even am I? Out of the corner of my eye, I see his big paws surround me, with massive claws at their end. My heart skips a beat, but I don't allow myself to be terrified. It wouldn't be fair, not to him. The wolf leans in closer, and again I feel his embrace. The warmth of his fur completely envelops me, and I feel his heavy breath brush my hair and fall down my neck. You're sailing, that's all that matters, he murmurs softly, rubbing my back with his paws. I chuckle into his chest, feeling so safe in his embrace, as if nothing could happen to me while he holds me close. I feel those things certain truths, but I can't be certain of them at all. The wolf still holds me tight in his arms. I wonder if he even hears me through his fur, but he quickly disperses my doubts. If you feel strongly about anything, don't doubt it. Even if I can't remember, especially if you can't remember. Wolf gently pushes me away so that our eyes can meet again. He has a soft smile with the most reassuring gaze he can muster. Your feelings are your compass. Follow them. Then, I know I never took the vows. I chuckle, rubbing away the tears. I look back up towards him and laugh as I realize I'm taking life advice from a talking wolf while simultaneously assuring both of us that I'm not taken. He smiles back while reaching up to my cheek. With one finger, he gently rubs it, clearing a single stray tear that I missed. Panic begins to take hold of me as the very same fingers ventures towards my eye, claw glistening in the faint light, but I manage to rein my tear. Ranok picks up a loose eyelash and presents it to me with a smile. Not even knowing why, I just make a wish and blow it away. The wolf blinks in astonishment and then smiles. What was that? I don't know. It's just something I felt like doing. Ranok smiles. See? You've got a good compass. Indeed. And if this is all but a dream, then I don't mind if it lasts a little while longer. The following day greets me with warm glow of the rising sun. I still feel uneasy about the previous night, and although I have bonded with Ranok, I think I might have stumbled upon something I'd be better off without. Something wrong transpired yesterday, but I don't know what. Did the wolf cross the line by sneaking up on me in the middle of the night? I shake my head in dismissal. It's not that. The wolf is quirky, true, but nothing else than kind and caring. I throw off the blanket, deceived by the warm hues flooding the room, only to realize it is a really cold morning. Gently, I check the wooden floor with my toe, and a jolt of cold shoots upwards through my body. There is no other way around it. I simply hop off the bed with both feet immediately stinging in discomfort, but it doesn't last long. I am more concerned by the slight shivers caused by my naked skin. Pity that Ranok doesn't have any shirts, but at the same time, why would he? He is a wolf with fur covering him head to toe. I envy the comfort of his coat. It's very warm and cozy. Memory of snuggling into his chest only empowers the sensation of chill creeping down my back, and I notice goosebumps appearing on my skin. This leaves me in a rather peculiar situation, where I have to fashion some sort of toga out of my bed linen. Once I am satisfied with my handiwork, I approach the window to take a look at the forest outside. The sun seeps through the treetops, splitting into a spectacular light show that I can't help but admire. I take in the fresh fragrance of the morning dew, almost identical to the smell I came to associate with Ranok. That's when I hear the wolfman stir in the next room. I swiftly approach the doors separating our chambers, opening them without much of a warning. Just gonna hide the whole damn screen.
For the love of God, please add some pants on.
Damn it. Damn it.
For the love of God, please put some pants on.
He isn't wearing pants. Jesus Christ, man. My eyes focus on the wolf who stretches out in a long yawn, all muscles tensing up as he arches upwards. He is completely nude and try as I can, I do not I'm so sorry. I yelp out as if I just dipped my fingers into boiling water. I hide my face inside my palms, trying to communicate clearly it was just an accident. Salen! A wooden scrape fills the room as the wolf stumbles back onto the table, desperately trying to cover his crotch. I turn away, clenching my teeth in utter embarrassment. I should have knocked! I hear the male scramble about with a distinct shriek of the table moving along the wooden floor as he tries to get his loincloth on. I didn't mean to! I mutter apologetically, but quickly feel a surge of anger rising within me. Why are you sleeping naked? I call out, still avoiding eye contact and shielding my field of vision with a hand. Why aren't you? The male responds nonchalantly. I can't think of a repost that wouldn't imply I don't trust him. Even if he has a creepy habit of staring at people in their sleep. My covers remained where they were. I groan in annoyance. Ugh, are you decent? Just a moment. He seems just as embarrassed as I am. I'm sorry I barged in like that. It's fine, I'm good now. I'm dead. I swear to God, I'm dead. The wolf responds, allowing me to finally face him. He isn't good, though. All he has on himself is ridiculously skimpy loincloth, which barely covers his protruding bulge. I try to avoid looking at that area by diverting my gaze upwards, which is as much a mistake as I end up staring at him. I admire the way his upper body is sculpted, his musculature on full display. It is alluring to gaze at such a hunk, and as much as I want to fight it, my body reacts in a most predictable way. I feel a slight tingling. God, I need a distraction before my entire face paints red. I swear to God. I smuggled some food yesterday for your breakfast. I don't want you to go hungry. He points awkwardly to a small wicker basket in the corner, obviously picking up on my distress. At moments like this, I envy the beastmen their fur coating. At least they don't announce their embarrassment to the whole world as humans do. I quickly approach the basket and look inside. There are 6 eggs, 3 thick slices of pork, and some bread. I smile, realizing this is universal breakfast as it can get. Would you share it with me? I ask absentmindedly. I'd enjoy cooking for us. Ranok's eyes widen in surprise, but quickly his expression changes into a smile. If you're offering. He points at the hearth, which looks as alien to me as he himself does. In all honesty, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but anything is better than lingering in this awkwardness. Do you know how to go about it? I look at the stone fireplace, trying to figure out how much of the prongs and spikes play into the whole rustic cooking experience. I'm a fast learner. I smile, approaching the hearth with confidence. I can feel its warmth embrace me, gently kissing my skin wherever it is exposed. It is a welcome sensation in this otherwise cold morning. Eggs, bacon, and toast it is. I say with a wide grin as the wolf's ears perk up and his expression lightens. I have to say, I like your newfound confidence. I smile back at the male, feeling thankful to have someone as positive and supportive as him taking care of me. Well, now that I kinda understand what's going on, I cut off once I gaze back at the hearth and my smile disappears. How would one even go about making breakfast in this living museum? Before I can ask, Ranok approaches me with what looks like a flat iron plate with a long prong. Doesn't even have sides and looks like no pan I've ever seen. Not that I can actually remember. Again, my mind is playing tricks, making me aware of things I can't recollect. Pan or not, I could see one easily make a proper fry up on it. I place my hands on the handle, nodding to Ranok to let go. To my surprise, it is much heavier than anticipated. Cooking utensils shouldn't be this heavy. Before I drop it to the floor, I feel the male's embrace, his form enveloping mine as he aids my hold from behind. I can feel his chest pressing against my back, as well as hear his breath just above my head. My heart skips a beat as his paws cover my hand, supporting the hold on the heavy pan. Easy now. He croons softly, helping me to properly hold the pan above the fire. I am frozen. I just managed to calm myself down, and this is again setting me to the edge. Perhaps I should hold it while you take care of the rest? I nod hastily, wanting to get out of the embrace. Feeling his fur, his form against mine, is more stimulating than I expected. As I entangle myself from his embrace, I rush towards the wicker basket. Part of me is angry that I dismissed the moment so soon, but I do not have the courage to face the embarrassment of getting aroused in front of him. Not to mention, it feels all sorts of wrong. It's not much, but that's all I could scrounge up. He says almost apologetically. Well, it's plenty enough for me. I give him a reassuring smile and grab the wicker basket, letting it rustle merrily with my step as I bring it forth to the hearth. The wolf does a good job of securing the pan inside the fireplace. I watch as the flame embraces the rim of the iron plate, dancing merrily along the edges. I notice a large two-pronged fork resting on the mantel above. Reaching with my hand as I grab its handle and use it to carefully move a succulent slab of pork onto the pan. I'm gonna turn up the audio a little bit. I guide the slice around the metal plate, allowing its fat to cover the whole thing nicely. The wolf watches intently, his ears perking up as I place another slice on the pan. Well, well, you know what you're doing, I guess. Told you, you have a good compass. I smile, giving him a happy side-eye. I crack the first egg onto the stone wall of the hearth, carefully moving it over to the pan. I could hear Ranok's tail sweep the floor like a broom. The wolf doesn't need much to get into a good mood. I tried to do that with Cilio. I tried to do the, thing you said here, have each stream be a day in game. I tried to do that with Cilio, but then Ty's route showed up. And I don't know. I guess I'd try to split it up into like sections, similar to what I did with Nekojishi, where it's like multiple sections are done a day instead of a whole ass day is done. Once I spill the egg onto the hot plate, I look around for a place to discard the shells. Throw it into the fire, the wolf says softly. Makes for better fertilizer. Fertilizer? We use the ashes to enrich the soil. The wolf explains, helping me with the remaining eggs. Huh. I learned something new. We crack the remaining eggs one by one, watching our breakfast sizzle. Isn't this Vian still in development? I'm pretty sure it's still in development. It looks gorgeous with the red pork slowly browning and eggs setting in tight. The smell is amazing, but I realize something is missing. Do you have any salt? Salt? The wolf looks at me with an amused smile. First a mirror, now this. I think you might be a lost human noble. I start to think you might be a lost human noble. As if. I grunt through a laugh. Then again, maybe I am. It definitely wouldn't be any crazier than talking wolves, now would it? Once everything is fried to perfection, Ranok moves the pan onto the table. The flame dances happily, filling the gap where the pan smothered it, returning to full glow. I sit with my back to the fire, enjoying the warmth of the hearth and the radiating heat of the pan. I feel so snug, completely forgetting how dreadfully cold this morning is. Ranok cuts the stale bread into a few slices and impales them onto a spit. Want to wash up while they roast? He asks, pointing to a wooden bowl standing on a cupboard in front of the table. I suggest you go first, as I tend to leave lots of fur behind. The wolf smiles awkwardly, while splaying out his arms, once again inviting me to inspect his musculature. Yup, that's a lot of fur, alright. I reluctantly move away from my seat towards the bowl, not really keen on leaving the warmth of the fireplace, but also not wanting to come across as unhygienic. As I stare at the bowl, noticing my distorted reflection, I cannot help but feel this is just bare bones. I don't know why, but I know I will have to figure out a better way to get clean down the line. For now, however, this would have to suffice. I dip my hands first, quickly shuddering. Fuck, it's cold. I yelp, causing the wolf to laugh. Cold is an understatement. The water is frigid. My hands feeling as if I am about to lose my fingers. Helps to wake up, doesn't it? The male laughs, looking back at the slowly browning bread. Well then, no other choice, is there? I scoop the water with my hands and quickly slush my face with it, drawing a raspy gasp. Damn, it's cold. I might as well be washing myself with a handful of needles. I repeat it a few times, then cleaning off my hands and arms as quickly as possible. My skin feels like it's on fire. I can see a small cloth resting next to the bowl, which I use to dry myself off. Once I finish, I quickly rush towards the fireplace to get back into the warmth. As I sit, Ranok moves the last piece of toast from the spit. When he notices my face, he snorts through a held-down laugh. Pink. He struggles to contain his amusement as I realize my skin flushed because of the exposure. The wolf goes to the cupboard to take his turn washing up. Sure, when you're covered with fur, the water might not be that bad, but fuck. I shudder just at the memory of it. I watch with curiosity as he washes up, noticing that he isn't actually soaking the fur, but rather brushing it with a wetted paw. He rises his massive arms up, biceps fully tensed, allowing me to see a lush fluff underneath his armpits, akin to what you would normally see in humans. Huh. Ranok begins to wash his pits, and for a moment I feel... Okay, so I didn't realize what he was doing, so I panicked. Nah, the stream didn't die. It didn't die. I killed it. I killed it dead. I murdered it. Yeah, I panicked. Same damn thing happened with Cilio, with Eric. That embarrassment changes to outright horror as I see him undo his underwear, cloth dropping to the floor with a soft flop and exposing his taut butt cheeks. He is being too diligent. I quickly drag the chair to the left, causing a loud wooden creak which draws Ranok's attention. Don't turn around! I stop him before he can accidentally flash me again. Sorry. My gaze is drilled into the wall separating the kitchen from the bathroom, but I can still see him moving in my peripheral vision, dangling over the bowl, leaving no room for imagination as to what he's actually watched. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. I shield myself from the view with my hand and stay like that until the wolf sits back at the table. I'm glad I've washed first. I mumble in annoyance. I wouldn't want to splash myself with this ball tea. Kind of you to wait, but as I said, this is more for you than myself. I regard the male as he pushes the plate towards me. I'd like to share. I won't be able to eat all of this anyway. I still don't trust it. I'll just give you like a quick view of it. I look around the room to find some utensils, but it didn't seem like there were any on display. Something's wrong? The wolf asks, seeing my gaze wandering around the room. How do we eat? You have fingers, don't you? He chuckles, tucking one egg into his paw and shoveling it into his muzzle. I grimace at the idea of having yolk dripping all over my hands and face. Sure, maybe he can swallow an egg whole with his massive jaw, but I would not be able to do that. I grab a slice of toast and break off a piece, using it to dip into the yolk. That way I don't risk splattering it all over myself. La-di-da. The wolf scoffs at my eating. Guess I was right about you being a noble after all. He winks, to which I only roll my eyes enjoying the meal. The toast is amazing and pairs perfectly with the creamy yolk. It is definitely a familiar sensation, something I had to enjoy before. Okay, I'm taking your word for it. Is he wearing it looks like he's wearing pants. I pull off a little bit of pork to sandwich between the two pieces of toast, dipping it all into the eggs. Damn, this is quite good. It's almost as if I'm discovering flavors of foods anew. As I fashion another such bite, I notice the wolf looking at me with a curious smile. Instead of eating it myself, I instinctively offer the piece to him, which catches the wolf by surprise. Again, I hear the swinging of the tail and my smile widens. Ranok opens his muzzle and gently takes the food from my hand, careful not to bare his fangs at me. I struggle to contain a blush as my lips delicately envelop my fingers and I notice my left leg begin twitching in rhythm of his wagging. Not bad. He smacks his lips with a cheeky grin. I laugh quietly and go back to eating. My thoughts wander off as we sit there in silence. Ranok is really kind and supportive, but there's something about him I can't put my finger on. Everyone's really cautious about me. You're the only one taking this in strides. It's just the way I am. He shrugs with a weak smile. Maybe, but you've been extremely friendly towards me. I'm always friendly. He smiles, gulping another egg in one bite. No one's always friendly. I look at him with a knowing gaze. He's hiding something, and if we were to have an open conversation, I want him to be honest. He looks to the side with a sigh, scratching his chin. Ranok. I say pleadingly, but the wolf still avoids looking at me. At the very beginning, just before you untied me, you said to Vol that you need me to trust you. Why? Still nothing. I want to trust you. I do, but you also must trust me in return. Why do you care so much about me? It's not just your coming-of-age ceremony, is it? There's something you're not telling me. You're more perceptive than I hoped. Not sorry to disappoint you in that regard. I mutter defiantly, ripping off another piece of toast. He scoots over ever so slightly, enough, however, to draw my attention to it. The day before my ceremony, I prayed to the ancestors and to Aluna. I asked them for clarity and guidance to know if they approve of my vision for the future of our tribe. Your vision? What do you mean by that? Before long, I will become the next chief, and that will mean I'll have to stay here until I will be laid to rest beneath my tree. Before that happens, I want to see the world, to experience it for myself, so that I can learn and become better than my father and all those who came before him. How do you know you'll be the next chief? Is it hereditary like a monarchy? I ask, dipping the toast in yolk and chewing on it idly. Not precisely. Technically, the chief is elected by the Howl. The Howl? It's the gathering of the prominent tribal leaders. They are called upon to make important decisions, like choosing a chief or advising him on hard issues. So, they're like a parliament then? Kinda. He looks at me with slight amusement. You're quite well informed. Well, yeah, well, not about the things that actually matter. I mumble, picking at some bacon. If it's elective, though, how do you know you'll be the next chief? Because my father has made me his heir. In order for the Howl to choose someone else, there would have to be a challenger. He dons a wide, proudful smile. And I'm pretty much safe in that regard. There's no one who could seriously challenge me and hope to win. Volgor could, I say cheekily, biting on another piece of toast dipped in yolk. He narrows his eyes at me with a smirk. Vol doesn't want to be chief. Lucky you. I continue to tease him. I could take him down, you know. He says defiantly through a grin, and I just flash my brows. I could. The wolf growls playfully as his tail wags. If you say so. I finally chuckle, seeing his mild indignation. So you want to become a better leader. That's understandable. But how will traveling help you accomplish that? My people are dying out, holding on to an antiquated way of life. They're trying to preserve a piece of a world that no longer exists, while the rest of Avalon seeks to build a better future together. I might not trust the Tigers, but the Alliance of Tigeron has kept the continent at peace for centuries. Well, for the most part. I roll my eyes. You did kinda go to war over, Ranok flicks his tail in annoyance, giving me a stern look. He obviously finds the subject irritating. I'm sorry, but this matches way too well with the thing. That matches a little too well. I wish you didn't treat this so lightly. This war was an outcry of a species who simply would not roll over and die. It was our last-ditch attempt to prove to the rest of Avalon that we are still here and that we are to be treated with respect. His words are empty. I snort. Respect. What about the tiger who paid with his life for a simple mistake? Where was respect in that? You said yourself, you would have killed me if... Stop. He cuts me off with a pleading tone, but I can't stop. Not after he admitted that he would pay with my life for any potential damage to his tree. No! Where would your respect be in killing me over something so silly like a damned tree? I finished my unexpected rant My heart rattled enough to even make me wonder what the hell just happened. Ranok takes a deep sigh, looking at me with a hurt expression. I can clearly see he doesn't want to even consider a possibility of having to kill me, but the thought will always stay with me. Those trees aren't silly. Yes, I know they're graves or something, but you won't bring back the dead by killing the living. He looks at me with a painful expression, almost as if he pitied me my ignorance. Without the name trees, our souls are condemned to the final darkness. We're gone the moment we draw our last breath. Final darkness? Death. So you don't believe in the afterlife? He scoffs, looking at me as if I were a naive child. There is no life after. This world is all there is. Once your light is extinguished, the final darkness falls upon you, and that is it. That. I cringe at the description, feeling almost familiar with it, as if I lived it. If one can live through death, that's why the trees are so important. They allow us to cheat death, if only for a little while. And you believe that? I know that. You can't know for certain what happens after death. I scoff. I understand the significance of name trees, but it's still just a belief. Killing people because of your faith is wrong, regardless of what you believe in. Especially if, according to you, you condemn them to oblivion. He sighs in resignation, looking away from me. Perhaps you will never understand. An awkward moment of silence falls over us as we sit there uncomfortably. I almost want to laugh at the absurdity of it all. I'm sitting in this strange cabin with a talking wolf debating afterlife and ethics of capital punishment. But at this point, I decide to simply roll with the punches. Was it really worth it, going to war? No war is worth the strife it causes. But we did prove our point, and the Tigeron left us alone. So far, the Tigers seem to be more level-headed in all of this. Maybe. Ranok shrugs, finally facing me. But it weren't the Tigers who got robbed of their land. It's not their people and culture that began vanishing over the centuries. Perhaps that's why they can afford their moral high ground. Beware the wounded wolf. Huh? He looks at me surprised and I simply shrug. It's just an expression, I think. The wolf laughs awkwardly at the remark. I'm not sure if he took it the right way. The past is the past, no point fretting over it. Maybe. Although as someone who can't even remember the day before yesterday, I can perfectly understand the need to hold on to the past. Or whatever's left of it. I pull my knees up onto the chair, wrapping my arms around them. But I can also see your point. We cannot change the past, and it shouldn't define us. At the end of the day, I'm still here, for the most part. I don't know if my memory is all that important in the grand scheme of things. All I really want to do now is to move forward. I don't want to be a kid lost in a cabin in the woods forever. Yeah. He looks at me, he smiles, looking at me with an almost proud expression. And neither should my people. Which is what we essentially are, a bunch of wolves stuck inside their cabins in the woods. The only way to move forward for them is to join the other kin in their endeavor. That's what I want to do as chief. He pumps out his chest with a proud expression which draws a smile to me. It's nice to see someone so determined and confident, someone who has their life and goals all figured out. I think it's a good policy. Oh? United we stand, divided we fall. He narrows his brows with a cheeky smile. Look at you, quoting wisdom out of nowhere like a shaman. I laugh. I have no idea where all of this comes from. My mind is as blank as it was, but there are echoes of things coming to me at just the right moments. Perhaps I am one? I joke, drawing a laugh from the wolf. He bops me with his shoulder and I chuckle, glad the tension between us is dissipated. I'm not even sure what caused it in the first place. That anger I felt came out of nowhere. Anyway, in order to achieve all that, I actually need to see what's happening beyond our borders. If I want to unite my tribe with the rest of Avalon, I need to see what Avalon became. And I can start this quest by bringing you home. I smile, seeing him so serious. I cannot help but ruin the moment. So, in a way, you simply see me as your ticket out of here. A ticket? He blinks, and as the silence settles, it's clear he doesn't understand the word. Fuck, do I? An excuse? I propose and he thinks it over, eventually nodding reluctantly. Yes, in a way I do. But there's more to that. I asked the ancestors for a path other than what the tribe would normally allow me. A path that would lead me to places none of our wolves ever visited before. And then I found you. He smiles, placing a paw in my hand. A human, with no humans around for thousands of miles. At that moment I knew, you're the path I wished for. Not only did the ancestors answer my prayer, but they also gave me a sign that my plan for our tribe has their full support. And the first step on my journey to become a worthy chief is to deliver you back to your own people. I look away at the window, lost in thought. This explains a lot of his behavior, why he's so familiar and friendly, but I remain unconvinced. Sure, all of this is quite a coincidence, but at the same time, I'm not a path. I'm just a lost person in the woods, that, or just asleep and waiting to finally wake up. Well, I'm glad it's you who found me. I truly am. Had it been Volgor, I would not be sitting here having this conversation, that's for sure. I still don't agree I am a path, but at least I understand what you want your path to be, and I will gladly walk it with you. I smile, happy to know I'll have him as a companion on my way home, if I remember where home is. You'll never go back. My heart sinks to my stomach as a feeling of utter defeat overtakes me. What is it? The wolf asks with concern, seeing my sudden mood swing. I'm just worried. He smiles at me, ruffling my hair. First, we need to get your memories back. In the meantime, just enjoy yourself. Granted, you're nice and all, but I can't enjoy myself when I feel as if I was born yesterday. I grumble, looking down at the food slightly resigned. That's because you're not allowing yourself to. Stressing over this won't make it go away any faster. His paw reaches up to my chin, lifting it so that I can meet his eyes. You lost your memory. Nothing can be done about that. And He grimaces in a playful way. I broke our laws by bringing you here. Can't change that either. Those things are beyond our control now, but we can control how we deal with them. From now on, things can only get clearer. Isn't it all exciting? He grins, voice full of confidence and pure thrill. I can hear his tail swings widen, brushing every few moments against the chair. And just like that, the odd feelings of dread that held me down has simply vanished, gone without a trace. I sigh with a thankful smile. I guess you're right. Of course I am. He laughs. A week ago, I was just going about my boring daily life, and now I'm having breakfast with a human. He leans in. What are the odds? His teasing whisper draws a reluctant laugh from me. A week ago? What a concept. Just think about it. What does your compass tell you? I pause to really console my inner feelings. Even though I don't remember my life, I know it was nowhere near as crazy as this. I finally reply with a chuckle. See? That's a good thing, right? I finally nod through a smile, eating up another piece of yoked bread. I guess this is an adventure of sorts. Something out of ordinary, and if that's the case, I'm glad to share it with him. Somehow this wolf makes me feel as if I could face anything as long as I have him by my side. Also, his reactions suggest to me he was rather lonely before I showed up. He pretty much revels in my company despite me not being the easiest of guests, or cheeriest of people. Then again, from what I heard so far, I can't blame him. Their lifestyle feels more like something suited for a penal colony than anything else. No wonder he finds my company so enticing. We continue eating our meal in silence for a while, Ranok clearly just enjoying himself while I contemplate this whole situation. I realize that the shadow that stalks the recess of my mind isn't even there when the wolf is around. It's almost as if Ranok banishes it completely. He has this uncanny ability to calm me down, even if it doesn't make any sense. It's a very comforting thought. Thank you, again, for saving me. Don't mention it. I nod quietly. I don't think he quite realizes what I meant. He saved me in more than just one way. Without him, I don't think I'd be able to deal with all of this as well as I do. We're going to leave off here tonight. This music is fucking sad. Honestly, I can't really think of much to say, so I'm gonna leave off here. So stay safe, have a good night, and I guess I'll see y'all tomorrow, even though it's already tomorrow. So